When I saw my supposedly dead sister at my neighbor's barbecue, my entire world collapsed in seconds. I'm Sarah, and for 15 years, I believed my twin sister Emma had died in a horrific car accident. I mourned her. I visited her grave every birthday. I named my daughter after her. But there she was, flipping burgers and laughing with my husband's cousin like they were old friends. Let me take you back to where this nightmare began. Emma and I were inseparable growing up in Portland. Twin telepathy, finishing each other's sentences, the whole thing. We were 23 when she supposedly died in 2008. The police said she'd been driving home from her night shift at the hospital when her car skidded off Highway 26 in a rainstorm. The car went into the Willamette River. They found her purse, her shoes, but never her body. Mom collapsed at the funeral. Dad aged 10 years overnight. I was so consumed with grief that I barely noticed the life insurance payout or how quickly Emma's affairs were settled. My boyfriend Jake, now my husband, was my anchor through it all. He helped me move to Sacramento 6 months later, said we needed a fresh start. We bought a house on Maple Street, right next to his extended family. For 15 years, I built a life believing my other half was gone. Jake and I married, had our daughter Emma, named for my dead sister. His family, the Hendersons, welcomed me like I was blood. His Aunt Carol next door became like a second mother. She'd babysit Emma, bring over casseroles, invite us to every family gathering. I thought I was the luckiest woman alive to marry into such a loving family. But last Saturday changed everything. Carol was throwing her annual summer barbecue. The whole Henderson clan was there, cousins from 3 states, family I'd never met. I was carrying potato salad to the picnic table when I heard a laugh that made my blood freeze. It was Emma's laugh. The one I'd heard every day for 23 years until that horrible night in 2008. I looked up, and there she was. Older, with shorter hair and different clothes, but unmistakably Emma. She was standing by the grill, wearing a Henderson family reunion t-shirt, chatting with Jake's cousin Mark like they were discussing the weather. My hand started shaking so violently I dropped the bowl. Potato salad splattered everywhere. "Sarah, honey, you okay?" Carol rushed over, but her voice sounded distant, underwater. I couldn't speak. I couldn't breathe. I was staring at my dead sister, very much alive, at my neighbor's barbecue. Emma looked over at the commotion, and our eyes met. The color drained from her face. She knew that I knew. I stumbled toward her like a zombie. "Emma?" My voice came out as a whisper. The entire barbecue went silent. 50 people turned to stare at us. Emma's mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. I can explain," she stammered. That's when Jake appeared beside me, his face white as a sheet. "Sarah, let's go inside and talk about this." "Talk about what?" I screamed. "Talk about how my dead sister is eating hamburgers at your family barbecue? Talk about how I've been mourning someone who's been living next door for God knows how long." The entire Henderson family looked like they'd seen a ghost. Which, in a way, they had. Inside Carol's house, the truth came pouring out like poison from a wound. Emma had been in trouble, deep trouble. She'd been stealing medications from the hospital where she worked, selling them to pay off gambling debts to dangerous people. "They were going to kill me, Sarah," she sobbed. "The night of the accident, they'd already sent someone after me. I had to disappear. But here's where it gets worse. Jake had known. The whole time. His family had helped fake the accident, collected the insurance money, and relocated Emma to Sacramento under a new identity. She'd been living as Emily Henderson, Jake's distant cousin from Oregon, for 15 years. "You let me grieve." I screamed at both of them. "You watched me cry every night for months. You held me while I had nightmares about Emma drowning. You comforted me at her empty grave. Jake tried to reach for me, but I slapped his hands away. "We couldn't tell you," he said weakly. "You would have been in danger too." Emma owed money to the Russian mob, Sarah. "They would have killed all of us." Emma was crying now, mascara streaming down her face. "I wanted to tell you so many times. Watching you name your daughter after me, seeing you visit that empty grave, it was torture. But Jake said if I contacted you, if I gave any sign I was alive, they'd find me. Find all of us." But the worst revelation was still coming. Carol, the woman I'd called Aunt Carol for 15 years, was the mastermind. She'd worked in insurance fraud for 30 years before retiring. She knew exactly how to make someone disappear and cash in on their death. It wasn't just about saving Emma, she admitted. "The insurance money helped us buy this house, pay for Mark's college, keep the family afloat during the recession." I felt sick. These people I'd loved, trusted, considered family, they'd all been lying to me for 15 years. They'd profited from my grief. They'd watched me suffer and said nothing. My entire marriage was built on a lie. My daughter's namesake wasn't dead, she'd been living 50 feet away, watching her grow up from a distance like some twisted fairy tale. I called the police that night. Emma was arrested for insurance fraud and faking her death. Carol was charged with conspiracy and fraud. Jake begged me to understand, said he'd only been trying to protect everyone. But how do you forgive 15 years of deception? How do you trust someone who watched you grieve his lie? The Russian mob connection turned out to be largely fabricated. Emma owed money to local dealers, not international criminals. The danger was real but not life-threatening. They could have found another way, a legal way, to protect her. Instead, they chose lies, fraud, and watching me suffer. Emma pleaded guilty and got 3 years. She wrote me letters from prison, pages and pages of apologies, explanations, memories of our childhood. I read every one, but I haven't written back. I don't know if I ever will. Some betrayals cut too deep for forgiveness. Jake and I are divorced now. I moved across town with our daughter, who's struggling to understand why the aunt she was named after is actually alive but in prison. It's been 8 months since that barbecue, and I'm still processing it all. I've started therapy, joined a support group for people who've experienced family betrayal. The strangest part? I don't know how to grieve Emma anymore. She's alive, but the sister I knew, the one who told me everything, who I trusted completely, she died the night she chose to fake her death rather than trust me to help her. I'm telling you this story because lies have a way of surfacing eventually. Truth is like water, it finds the cracks and seeps through. If someone you love is in trouble, be the person they can come to for help, not the person they have to hide from. And if you're living with a secret that's destroying the people you claim to love, ask yourself, is protecting them really worth making them suffer? Sometimes the people we trust most are the ones who hurt us deepest. But I'm learning that surviving betrayal, even from family, can make you stronger than you ever imagined. If this story resonates with you, please share it. And if you've experienced something similar, know that you're not alone. The truth might shatter your world, but it's the only foundation you can build a real life on. What would you do if you discovered your supposedly dead family member at a neighbor's barbecue? Let me know in the comments below.